Well, hello, Lisa. Welcome to the show.
Hi, Erika. Thanks for having me.
Yes, I'm so excited to have you on the show and especially talk about how you've really successfully transitioned from a beauty channel to more of a mindset, manifestation, law of attraction channel. So, super excited to dive into that. But before we talk about that, why don't you share with our viewers and listeners a little bit about you and what inspired you to get onto YouTube so many years ago?
Mm. So currently I have a law of attraction manifestation type channel. But I got started with beauty, fashion, and also fitness. I was very into fitness.
Mm.
I still am very much into fitness, but I'm just not posting about it that much anymore. And the way I got started, I think it was um, I started to take my channel really seriously in 2014, but the way I discovered YouTube was in like 2011, 2012, like the whole beauty world of YouTube when that just started to emerge. I remember back in the day, I don't know if you remember those days, but
Yeah, yeah.
Michelle, the only real known beauty influencer at the time was Michelle Phan. So that's how I kind of discovered YouTube. And at that age, I was in my early 20s, I never really knew kind of what I wanted to do as a job. And I thought, man, this would be amazing as a career. And so I just went for it. And I think in the beginning, honestly, I had no idea what I was doing. And I was not taking it, I was still a student. I was just doing it here and there. But then, once I started taking it seriously, that's also when my channel started to really grow.
So, was there a moment that your channel started to take off for you? Was there like a video or anything that happened?
I think it was a while back. So once I hit 100K subscribers, my channel grew super fast. I think it took me like almost 2 years to grow from zero to 100,000. But once I reached 100,000, I grew like to 200,000 in a matter of months only.
Oh,
So
wow.
it was kind of like an exponential thing, like the snowball effect for me.
Wow. And so, at what point were you a full time content creator, influencer? Did it happen at that point or was it sooner?
Yeah, I was able to do it full time at around 100,000 subscribers. But one thing I always like to mention is that it's more the views that count than the subscriber amount. Because when you're working with, because I was at that point, I was working a lot with brands and companies. And so, what they care, but they don't care about the subscriber count. The subscriber count may give you some notoriety, but what really matters is the views.
Yeah, true. And so, for you, you have a successful beauty channel. And how long were you doing that before you maybe felt like it wasn't the best fit for you?
Yeah, so I was doing it a pretty long time. I remember in 2018/19 is when I started to kind of feel like, okay, I've done so many beauty videos, so many makeup tutorials, and I felt like I wanted to go deeper with my audience, and I felt a call. In my being, I had a spiritual awakening, and I felt a call to do more spiritual content. And but I was scared because I hesitated for such a long time because I had built up at that point it was at 500,000 subscribers, and I had built up 500,000
Mm-hmm.
subscribers of an audience, and I felt I kind of had imposter syndrome in the sense that I felt like I would betray my audience, like
Yeah.
what about all the people that love me for my beauty content? But I noticed, so for a few months and even a year or two, I continued doing beauty, but I still love it. I'm a girly girl, always was, always will love makeup,
Mm-hmm.
fashion, hair, beauty. But you could tell in my videos, I think in my energy, that I wasn't as passionate about it anymore as I used to be. So then when I switched over to my passion and just teaching manifestation and teaching women, I say women because I have mostly women on my channel, teaching women how to live their highest potential and their highest life, and just all things manifestation. I've always been super passionate about manifestation, And I think that really showed in my videos, that energy. And it wasn't even like, in my mind, I thought the transition would be so hard, but it was so easy because it was my passion, and I think people really felt that.
And so how many years were you doing the beauty for?
So 2014, 6 years.
Wow. Okay. So 5, 6 years. It's a pretty long time to be committed to one topic, right? And to grow an audience. You said 500,000. And so what finally happened that you said, okay, was it a progression where you kind of dabbled and threw a couple videos on there, but still did the beauty and did both? Or did you say, I'm done, I'm all in?
It was more like, I'm done, I'm all in. I made that decision for myself because for so long I was just only listening to my audience, and I want to take feedback from my audience. But when you're a YouTuber, you can kind of become go too much into the like being kind of like just doing it for the audience. But then, you know, I really asked myself, like, why am I even doing this for? Who am I doing this for? What is my vision? Like, I think what really helped me make that shift and get rid of all the fear and all the comments, and, you know, in my mind I would receive so much backlash, which I actually didn't. People loved it. But what made me really switch over to that was the true vision. Like, what am I here to do? What do I want to do? And, you know, beauty is great, but in my mind I was like, the world doesn't need another beauty influencer, you know? And so I went with the call, and the call got so much stronger over the months, and I was like, I just have to do it. So I just jumped into cold water, and yeah.
Wow. So you felt so strongly, it sounded like. How soon, okay, you said you had a personal spiritual awakening. How soon did you make that decision to go all in with your content after that? Like, how long did it take you?
I would say 4 to 5 years.
Oh, I thought you.
I was in the closet for so long. I had my spiritual awakening in 2017, and it was only earlier this year that I really made that jump towards manifestation content. So, yeah, and back in 2018, I did do some spiritual content here and there, and people absolutely loved it. But I was still mostly focused on beauty. And so, yeah, for a long time, I was kind of in the closet with my spirituality.
Oh my gosh, that is a long time. I thought you were maybe going to say like a couple months or something like that. So
no, because I had this pressure. I felt this pressure that I had to deliver as like my identity as a beauty influencer, and just how people saw me was so established already. So it took really a lot of like mental, you know, rewiring kind of to really push myself to that next level.
Yeah. So we'll talk about, and let's talk about in a little bit, like, you know, what happened, right? What was the reception once you finally did that? But what would you tell somebody? Because I work with a lot of YouTubers. You know, I have a YouTube boot camp. I work with a lot of women, like one-on-one YouTube coaching, and there are quite a few people out there that are in the position that you're in, where they kind of started in a niche. And a lot of times it's beauty, actually. A lot of times people jump onto YouTube and they do beauty, and then they realize, like, I want to do something else. What would you tell somebody who is maybe scared to make that leap and make that jump? Because it sounds like you were there.
Yeah, I would say everybody has a calling, you know, in their life. And if you feel that call, go for it, because it will only get louder and louder and louder. Like, the longer you ignore the call, the louder it will become. And, you know, the universe is going to push you in ways. It's going to get more uncomfortable the more you kind of resist and ignore it. At least that was the case for me. So go with your intuition, and don't listen to what other people say, because like they don't know the calling that God or the universe has on your life. You know, God talks to you, the universe talks to you, not to them. So I think really going all in with your intuition and really your gut feeling, like what am I here to do and what feels right. Because if it's just going back to your intuition, if it feels dense and like you don't want to do it and you're procrastinating, then it's probably not in alignment. And when it's in alignment, it feels just super light and joyful, and you'll have the energy and the persistence to also continue going when things get hard as well.
Yeah, it's so true. And I always tell people this myself. It's like, if you're not going with your intuition, like what you truly passionate about, and you touched on this earlier, which I think is really important, is that people will be able to sense it. Like, your true passion really shines on camera, and it makes you more magnetic and charismatic as a creator. So it's like, when you're feeling that kind of like you said, I like the words that you use, like it's like a lightness, you have the energy. It's like you gotta go for it. So I think that's really good advice. So going back to when you made that switch, it wasn't too long ago, right?
Yeah, it was earlier this year.
So what was the first video that you uploaded after making that decision, and how did it get received?
First of all, the first one that I uploaded, I was talking about how I manifested my dream life, and it literally 30x'd my views. So I had like a quantum leap in my views, and I think that was the sign that I needed to be like, okay, this is, universe has got your back, when you go for it. And I was super passionate, and I always tell people that want to do YouTube, your energy, like, people pick up on that. They may not be able to put it into words, but there's something going on between the viewer and the person that's on camera, and people can feel that subconsciously.
Yeah, and so then what happened after that? So that's incredible. The first video you uploaded did amazing. Did it continue to snowball and do really well, or was there a point where maybe that was just like one lucky video, or did you ever have any kind of like hardships in that transition?
Not really. I gained a lot of new viewers, so that's amazing. Also, my channel, I noticed it became so much more positive, because I don't know if it's because it's the spiritual community. Obviously, there's always going to be, naysayers and negative people online, but it's just like it became. I feel like the whole energy of my entire channel just completely shifted.
Wow. And so did you ever explain to your audience, I'm no longer doing beauty? And did you ever get comments from people saying like, well, I miss your old content?
I never really, there are a few people that mentioned that they miss my old content, but the majority actually loves, even like people that have been subscribed to me for a long time, they love the videos that I'm doing now, and they do. There's people that have been with me for 6, 7, 8 years, and they have grown too, and maybe like they're not interested in beauty as much anymore, and want to go more inward and like focus on our inner beauty, if I can say so.
Yeah, and I thought it was interesting what you said earlier about how you're like, the world doesn't need like another beauty YouTube channel. Like, you're like, I think this is something that kind of hits home for you. And you're like, do we need another beauty one? I don't know. There is a lot of beauty YouTubers out there.
There are, and it's amazing. Their work is amazing, but I really asked myself that question, and I was like, I'm going to be able to help so many, like, more people with my calling, my true calling, and then versus if I just do makeup, which makeup is amazing, but I wanted to change people's lives.
Yeah. So where do you see the direction of your channel going now? How long have you been at it for this like manifestation content?
I think I started like in March this year, like really, and I've done a lot of attraction videos before, but not like consistently. And where I want to take my channel is, I just want to go with, I don't want to be a slave to YouTube. I don't want to be a slave to my audience, in the sense that I think you should always follow your intuition. When we do that, things just automatically fall into place. So yeah, just going with the flow. And I think it taught me to really like listen to my intuition versus listening to what other people have to say, which, it's great. You can take in account their feedback, but also your intuition never lies.
So is that how you come up with the video topics that you're going to talk about on your channel?
So most of my video topics I actually come up with in meditation.
Oh, really? Tell us
I
about
have
that.
I have this technique where I go into, okay, so I'm gonna talk about brainwaves here, because like you and I were on this call, we're in beta brainwaves, right? Like busy focusing and just day-to-day activities. But Joe Dispenza talks about this a lot. When you are in kind of like the alpha or theta brainwaves, the lower brainwaves, you can tap into the quantum field, which I like to call, the some people call it the quantum field, some people call it the mind of God. And that's like a web of information where, to me, I see it as like ideas wanting to come through, like through the third dimensional world. And like many artists, they talk about this field and how they receive ideas from this field, and like how some of their best ideas and even inventors, how some of their best inventions came from that field. So that's what I tap into to get my ideas, and usually those videos do really well.
Yeah, so can you share with us like that process for you of like how you meditate, how you get into that state, like how often you do it, all the details there?
Yeah. So, I usually meditate once a day, an hour a day, either in the morning or in the evening. And when I do it for to get ideas, I kind of really try to relax my body. Sometimes I do breath work. I have specific techniques to get into alpha brainwaves. So one thing that you can do like immediately, if you're sensitive, you'll see the change, is to focus on your peripheral vision. So actually just like focusing on that has to get into alpha brainwave, and just like breathing techniques to really like relax your body, calm your body, and then focusing on the space around you, like getting out of your body with your awareness and focusing on the field around you, and also setting that intention that you're open to receiving ideas, I would say.
Wow. So you say you do it for an hour a day?
Um, 30 minutes to an hour a day. But yeah, it's a commitment.
Yeah, that's a huge commitment. And so are you listening to music? Are you chanting? Or are you literally just kind of like sitting still?
I listen to music. I need to have I can't have any outside noise. So I do listen to like binaural beats or that type of music. Sometimes I do a guided meditation as well.
Wow. And so you do this consistently every day. And then are are you doing it every day and you just like happen to have ideas, or like you said, are there certain times where you have an intention like, okay, for this meditation I really want to like try and get some ideas?
Yes, exactly. So sometimes it depends day by day. Sometimes most of the time, I like to visualize my future. I like to visualize, first of all, I tap into gratitude. Then I like to visualize how I want my day to go. It depends. I don't try to get ideas every single day. But yeah, to receive ideas, another thing that I do is kind of like mentally, I make an image of my problem, which is like, okay, I need this idea, I need this fixed, this is what's happening. And then I kind of like, it's like I hit send to the universe, and then ideas will just come back to you.
Wow, that's so cool. And when you're doing your meditation, do you generally do it like in the morning or at night or just whenever?
I love it's taking up a lot of time in the morning, but I actually love to do it in the morning because you're still kind of like in that alpha brainwave. Like I do it right away when I wake up, and to me, mornings and evenings are the best ways to really like get into meditation, because you don't have to think about what you will do, and you're much more in a relaxed and receptive state.
Wow. And so you said you've been doing this type of meditation, or you've had this kind of spiritual awakening for several years now, right?
Yes.
So what would you say your your day-to-day or maybe weekly schedule is when it comes to incorporating kind of your spiritual side, like the manifestation, or maybe I saw on your channel you do scripting with like your work side. Like, what does your schedule look like?
Mm. So I'm very intuitive and spontaneous, so I don't have like a very fixed schedule. I like to flow. I recently started to, I think it's called cycle syncing. I'm not sure, but where you actually, I work a lot more on the days of my cycle where I have more
Ah,
energy versus, yeah, and that has made a huge difference in the way I organize myself. Sometimes I get things done that I would get done in a week. I get them done in a day when I have a lot of energy. So that's how I kind of organize myself. I also batch create content, which helps me free up a lot of time as well versus just filming once a week. I prefer to film my videos, 3 or 4 videos at a time if I can. And then, yeah, for my schedule, usually I work a lot. I'm like A-type personality, so I need to concentrate on taking enough breaks because when I'm in it, I can like work nonstop for like
yeah,
5 hours
yeah,
and
me too.
forget to eat.
Yeah.
You're the same?
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
So I'm the type that forgets to eat and everything. So I need to schedule breaks, and also going in nature really helps because we're a lot around electronics, right? Like computer and phone. So I'm very sensitive to electromagnetic, like EMF
EMF,
radiation, and
yeah.
I feel like just going in nature helps kind of hit the reset button for that as well.
It's so funny. I do the same thing. I'm a big fan of batching, and so today I have like 4 interviews I'm doing, and the girl right before you said the same thing, and she's like, for me, I have to get her channel is yoga for kids, but she said the same thing. It's like get into nature, like that's so big for when we're so much bombarded by all this technology. It's like
Yeah.
getting outside of it, outside of the virtual world. And like I'm the same way, like every day I have to go on a walk every day, like outside for at least an hour and be outside, just away from everything, because it's so important for us as human beings to connect with
It
the
is.
fresh air, the sun, all that.
It is.
Hmm.
And it's a win-win because when you're going into nature, a lot of people get very inspired,
Hmm.
and they come back refreshed and re-energized. So it's not even like you're wasting time. You're
No.
actually investing that time.
Oh, it's huge because it benefits your body, your mind, your spirit. For me, I actually get my best ideas when I'm walking. I almost feel it's like a walking meditation in a way, because I always get my ideas while I'm walking. I haven't been able to get
Wow.
them like lying down like that. I feel like my mind, for some reason, but I always, when I go on my walks, I know that's when I'll kind of figure out problems, and I get all of my ideas when I'm walking, which is so
Wow, that's
weird.
amazing.
Yeah. So, and sometimes I will listen to kind of like meditation type music, like binaural beats and things like that while I'm walking. And I've looked into it, and they said like walking meditation for some people, it's like it works for them. For others,
Yes.
it's not the same. I do believe everyone's different in how they kind of connect with that, the different brain waves, which is that's another thing that is so fascinating to me as well. Like, I feel like I could talk forever about that because Dr. Joe Dispenza, he's fascinating to me. The whole thing is, there's so much there. So I love it. And so okay, so we're nearing the second part of the interview, and that's where I ask you all the same questions I've asked everyone that has been on the show. So they're kind of like rapid fire questions. You ready?
Yes. Let's
Okay,
go.
awesome. First question is, what is your number one struggle with YouTube?
My number one struggle is to not get burnt out and to find that balance between being inspired and creating content versus having to create content, but then it's not inspired. So I try to really keep that balance. I want my content to always be fresh and inspired. And as soon as I feel like, oh, I have to do this, I have to create, that's when inspiration just goes away for me. And
Yeah.
so just keeping that balance, yeah, definitely.
Yeah. So how do you do that?
Batch creating.
Yeah.
has really helped me with that, because you're not constantly on a roll. You can actually take some time off and breathe. And we have good days and we have bad days. We have high energy days, low energy days. Especially as women, we fluctuate, like our energy fluctuates a lot. And so I used to like force myself to film many years ago, but people pick that up in the video. And I think only filming when I feel good, and I have high energy and I can film like 4 videos at once has really helped make that difference.
Yeah, yeah. If you were to start over with your channel right now, what, if anything, would you do differently?
Nothing, because I think everything is a learning experience, and I think sometimes we have to go through struggles. Like, we wouldn't be where we are today if we hadn't gone through these struggles. So I'm grateful for everything, the ups and the downs.
Yeah. What is your most favorite video you've uploaded on your YouTube channel?
I think any video that really inspires the viewers, and for example, a recent video I did was my scripting video, and I made I did an exercise I love doing these manifestation exercises on my channel with people. It's something that I came up with, and I teach them to manifest small things, where you don't have a lot of resistance to it, like a parking spot, for example. And one of it that I did was like white roses, and people start manifesting white roses literally everywhere. It's amazing. And just seeing that, because you might think to yourself, well, it's just a rose, but that builds in people, it builds that confidence to know that they are creators, and we are so powerful, and our thoughts are more powerful than we think. And it just, I love reading the comments.
Yeah.
It's amazing. People send me pictures of roses all the time on Instagram.
Oh my gosh. The white roses too, because they're more rare.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Wow, that's so cool. What is your number one tip for preserving your mental health as a content creator?
I would say boundaries. So having boundaries with yourself, with how much time you're spending online, having boundaries with your audience. There can be people that that mean well, but that can really we can't, when we have a big audience, we can't answer everybody. We can't reply to every single comment, to every single message. And in the beginning, I was so set on answering everybody, and I still try, but you need to have that boundary with yourself. You're here to create the content and to make the impact, and also trusting that that you're making the impact, and that people are receiving your energy, and you don't need to be online 24/7. You can take breaks, and you can be offline. Yeah, definitely boundaries.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
With yourself, with your viewers, with your time online. Definitely. And having a schedule, for me, for example, I like to turn my phone off, not be on social media anymore after 7 p.m. That's a rule that I try to do, and it's amazing. Especially, I'm currently single, so I tend to be more on the phone, but when you're in a relationship, that's just amazing. Let's both turn our phones off at a certain time at the end of the day, and it makes all the difference.
Oh yeah. I mean, people are bombarded 24/7
Yeah.
with social media, and you have to think that's just not good.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. We used to remember back in the days with when MSN Messenger was around. We used to write "Be right back," BRB.
I know.
And we don't do that anymore because we're online 24/7, and I don't think it's healthy.
No, I don't think it's healthy either. It's these things. It's the phones. It's having the internet on the phones. That's before it was limited to when you were in front of a computer. Now it's accessible all the time, and I don't think it's
all
now
the
they
time.
want to implant the thing in our brain, right?
Exactly.
I don't want any of that.
Where's the line?
I know. Where's the boundaries? Well, I think as humans, we're gonna have to make it. We're gonna have to make it. We're gonna have to say no. It's the more people adapt to things, the more I feel like the boundaries get pushed, right? And I even save it for children. For me, I'm just not a big advocate for children being in front of the screens, iPads, cell phones. So I'm doing everything in my power to limit that, and I'm not going to give my kids a cell phone when they're, in third grade or fourth. I'm like, no, I'm not.
Yeah.
They might beg me and stuff, but I'm like, I can't just because everybody else is doing.
Yeah.
I just can't. It's like, hey, they're so little. Like they've got the rest of their lives to sit on a cell phone. They're gonna have to for work or for their
Exactly.
career or whatever it
They will
is.
have to.
I have to. I mean, you have to. We all have to. Everybody listening has to. It's like this love-hate relationship, right? Because we love social media, we love YouTube, we love Instagram, we love all these things because it's given us an opportunity to have a voice, to connect, to have a community. It's a beautiful thing. But it's like the same thing at the same time. It's like, yeah, but it can control you so much that it's like, I love what you said, boundaries. I think that's huge. And I think
Yeah.
as individuals, we have to come up with our own personal boundaries.
Yeah.
So I think that's so
Exactly.
good. Have you ever wanted to just give up on your channel? What happened there and how did you get back on track?
I think at the beginning, the first 2 years when I wasn't growing at all and I was just making videos, I'm like, what am I doing this for? Because anybody who creates content knows how much energy and work and effort goes into, especially YouTube videos. There's just so much work that goes into it. And at some points, I remember there were moments where I really wanted to give up. I was like, I don't want to do this anymore.
Yeah.
But then I kept pushing because I just had this will and this determination. Like, no, I'm going to do this. Like, I'm just tired right now. I'm going to take a break, but I'll come back better the next day. And I think, yeah, I never gave up, and today I'm thankful that I never did.
Yeah, of course. I mean, you wouldn't be where you're at now. Was there any video that you uploaded on your channel that you were super excited about, but it just did not perform well?
I don't know of a specific video, but there were definitely videos where I put in a lot of work and they didn't get the response that I thought they would. And but yeah, there's no specific video that I can think of where I was like super disappointed, because I'll just be like, okay, I'll do better next time. Like, it's a learning experience.
Mm-hmm. That's a good attitude. What is the biggest opportunity you got as a result of being a content creator?
There's two ways that I want to answer that. So the first one is just the amount of connection that I have with people all over the world. I literally have one of my best friends. We met through YouTube. Like, I would never have met her if I wouldn't have had my YouTube channel. So definitely just being able to connect to people all over the world and just sharing like common interests, and it's just amazing. Like, I never get tired of reading comments. I love it. So that's definitely like the most rewarding thing about being on YouTube, having that close relationship with your audience. It's much closer than on Instagram, for example. And the other one, I would say, as far as like brand opportunities and like career opportunities, I think when I worked with Sephora, that for a video, that was a pretty big, that felt amazing. And anytime I used a brand for a long time and then they reach out to me and they want to work with me, it's like a dream come true. And I remember I used to use Too Faced Born This Way foundation in all of my videos. Like, it was my go-to, my favorite. And then they reached out and they wanted to work with me, and they sponsored me for their Born This Way foundation, and that was amazing as well.
Yeah, I love that. I still love that foundation. It's a really good
It's a
foundation.
good one,
I can
right?
say it's one of my favorites.
I have it right now. Like,
Yeah.
the concealer, I'm wearing it right now.
Yeah, it was so funny because I was like looking for it this morning. I think I ended up using like a different one. I can't remember. But then I'm like, oh, I had it in my travel bag. It's a really good foundation. And then I use it too. The foundation, like the big foundation, Born This Way. It's such a good, I mean,
It's
foundation,
amazing.
concealer. I just want to mention, because I was on your channel watching your videos, and I thought you were going to mention this, but you had a video where you were on a yacht with Bellamy.
Oh yeah.
That
Oh, that was amazing. I
was
forgot
like
about that.
sick. I was like, oh my God. Like,
Yeah.
Bellamy Hair knows how to really treat their creators. I mean, it was like an incredible, beautiful. Where were you guys? I wasn't clear where you were at, but the yacht.
Here
Okay,
in Cannes.
okay,
It was a
okay.
50-meter yacht. So it was huge, and they made it all gold,
Oh
like
my
they gold
God.
plated it. It was, you could see that yacht from like, because you have the mountains here. Like if you go in the mountains, you could still see that yacht from up there. But yeah, it was amazing. I already forgot about it because it wasn't like a a like a
Yeah.
sponsored video that I made. It was more of like an experience, so I didn't think
Yeah.
about it. But that was definitely like amazing,
Oh
and
my
and to
God.
spend time with other girls, and even the team that I got to know from Bellamy. I still am in contact with one of them today, so it was amazing.
How many girls do they have on that yacht?
I think we were like a group of 8.
Yeah, because it didn't look
Around,
like a lot of
I'd say
girls.
between 7 and 10.
Wow. And were you guys sleeping on the boat?
Yes.
Oh my God. It looked like a dream. I was like, whoa. And then,
Yeah, actually, there was, because you get a +1, right? You
oh, you
can
got a
bring your
plus
plus
one
one, and
too.
it was.
Wow.
I came alone, because my friend wasn't here when I invited her, but there was one girl who was there with her husband, and he literally in the evening he said, "This is better than my wedding day."
I believe
He
it. I
was.
mean, it just looked insane. You had like the chefs and this and like
Yeah.
experiences and the jet skis. And then with your filming, did you get some of that drone footage from them? Because it looked like
They
a
had a
music
video
video
crew.
or something, like with the
Yeah.
footage and all that.
Yeah, I'm super passionate about doing travel videos as well. Like,
Okay.
my Maldives video it's a video that got 6 million views, and I
Oh
loved
wow.
making that video, and I made it out of pure passion. There was no endorsement behind it, nothing. So I love making these music type of videos.
Mm-hmm.
That's definitely a passion of mine as well. And I edited the entire video, but the drone footage in itself, because I was on the
Yeah,
jet
you
ski,
were
I
on
couldn't
it.
do the drone and the jet at the same time. They did have a filming crew.
Mm. So you got to get some of that footage.
Yeah.
Wow, beautiful.
Yes.
My gosh. What would you say has kept you going over the last, I don't know, how many years you've been doing this as a content creator?
I think the long term vision, and where I'm headed, and just the wanting to help. The big vision is just wanting to help people improve their lives, and becoming a better person. Even me, like, it's such a self improvement game as well, being on YouTube, because you get to see yourself, and you improve, and obviously people point out all sorts of things
Yeah.
in your videos. So it's like, yeah, you get to self improve, but also like having the impact that I have on people, and when people send me messages and say, your video has changed my life, and just things that's just so, it's like priceless to me.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. What is your superpower that you think has led to your success?
That's a really good question. What's my superpower? I think it's really hard to think about our own superpowers. Um, but what people usually say, like friends around me, say that I'm very passionate. So maybe it's like my passion in doing things, and wanting to keep going, and being passionate about helping people, being passionate about self improvement, and just creating your highest life, whether it's me creating my highest life, or me helping people create their highest potential and their best life. That's definitely something I'm super super passionate about, and I think that shows as well
Mm-hmm.
in the videos.
And last question, what is your number one piece of advice you would tell somebody who's just starting off on YouTube?
Keep going, don't give up. No matter, like, if you really want to do this, don't give up. There will be ups, there will be downs, there will be moments where you want to quit, but just don't give up. There will come this moment where your future self will thank you for all the hard work that you will put in. It's also one thing I want to say, it's not always going to be hard. You know, there are moments where it feels super hard, but there are moments where it feels amazing and everything is just flowing and things, you're growing so fast and your videos are going viral. So it's definitely, you know, there are ups and downs, but yeah, to definitely keep going and to never give up on your dream. I know it sounds cheesy, but it's really true.
Yeah, I love it. I love it, Lisa. Well, thank you so much for coming onto the show, sharing a little bit about you, your experience on YouTube. For anyone that's not familiar with you and your content, where can they find you? And also, you can let everyone know too about, I know you have like a manifestation course and all that, so let everybody know a little bit about that. I know we didn't really touch on that at all.
Yeah, so thank you for having me, first of all. And you can find me on Instagram and YouTube when you type in Lisa Alexandra. That's how you can find me. And then I have my manifestation school called Limitless. It's a membership that I have on She Leads Herself. She Leads Herself. Podia, Podia.com.
Okay.
And that's where you can find all my offerings, my Abundance Queen Academy, which is my abundance course, and yeah, that's where you can find out everything.
And I'll link it all in the description below as well, so anyone watching here on YouTube can definitely go check it out. Well, Lisa, thank you so much. It was so much fun. I love talking about manifestation and all that kind of stuff, so thank you so much for sharing that with us.
Thank you so much for having me. It was a pleasure.
Bye.
Bye.
I hope you enjoyed that interview and you learned a lot from it. Now, if you have a YouTube channel or considering starting a YouTube channel that you're serious about growing and you want the best of the best when it comes to personalized feedback, advice, and up-to-the-minute YouTube strategy, then consider my Zero to Influence YouTube Bootcamp for Women. I have been running this bootcamp since 2018, and we have hundreds upon hundreds of very successful students that have gone through the program. And I can go on and on about the YouTube Bootcamp, but I want you to hear it directly from some of the women themselves.
I feel so lucky that I got to do Erika's bootcamp.
Before I joined the bootcamp,
Before joining Erika's bootcamp,
my channel was all over the place. I didn't know what I was talking about.
I would hear people say that I need to find my why and my voice and my audience and understand my target audience, but I never felt like I really understood what that meant.
Erika helped me come up with YouTube video ideas. She helped me with consistency. She helps me to interpret my analytics.
I started with 12,000 subscribers and now I have over 50,000 and it is growing rapidly.
My channel has grown almost 100,000 subscribers.
I definitely wouldn't have gotten to this place in such a short amount of time without Erika's bootcamp.
What makes Erika special is that she has been talking to and analyzing YouTube channels for years, and that has given her this bank of knowledge to pull from.
I'm constantly asking her questions about YouTube. I'm asking her advice about my YouTube channel.
Taking the Zero to Influence YouTube Bootcamp was one of the best
decision I could have ever made for myself, for my channel, for my own personal growth as a human being. I could not be happier.
I love that it has reinvigorated me in such a beautiful way. So I am so happy that I've joined.
You're crazy not to hire her. Get on it. All right.